I finally have my own rig. Um, it's been 3 weeks since my last update. It's hard for me because I don't know what this channel is going to be yet. I don't know what I'm going to be yet. I don't know what my future is going to be yet. Yeah, that makes it worse. I realized something yesterday which has finally pushed me to do a live today. I realized that as I've grown up, it's always needed to be fight like hell or completely submit. There was no camaraderie, there was no building, there was no working together to find solutions. There was I'm right or you're wrong, and that was pretty much it. I'm very thankful for the life skills that I had because they got me to the point where I'm at. However, I'm not going to do that anymore. And I've made huge sacrifices to not do that anymore. Obviously, the most notable is not fighting to go see my children, which almost, just devastated me. And, oh wait, I think I can do this button. That kind of makes it better, I don't know. Lighting is not the thing in trucks. Anyway, I am not going to fight, and I'm not going to submit. I'm not going to have people tell me how to live my life, and I'm not going to tell other people how to live theirs. I'm going to build. I'm going to build my life, and I had to heal not only from the divorce, but then also from losing my children. And then I had to learn. I had to learn how to do the real estate, how to do the finances, and that's all book smarts. And I've tried to bring it into the real world, but I don't have the connections to fully, bring about a real estate deal yet. I tried mentoring. I tried getting partners. Granted, they were inexperienced partners. Tried doing a master lease. All that wound up doing was getting me in extreme debt. And through each of these stages, I've had a lot of lessons. So I do not view myself as a failure. I do not think that I've done anything more than I could have possibly done. For those of you who have followed this channel, you know that I started this channel back in June when I started truck driving school. Since then, I have driven reefer, and I currently drive flatbed. And I get a lot of commentation from women who tell me that I inspire them. That, it's funny because they're already truck drivers. They're already truck drivers. They're already driving trucks. A number of these women have already had more experience than me in truck driving. But they say that they're inspired by me for doing flatbed because it scares them. I've known my entire life that people have told me stuff like that. I don't think it's a big deal at all, but I have people telling me it's a very big deal for the things I'm taking on. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's a big deal to you. I'm not sure what inspires you. All I can ever know is what inspires me, what's a big deal to me, and I share it because of the number of people who come to me and tell me that it helped them. I stopped sharing because I was first focused on just having a family. I was very happy. It took me a number of years, after the divorce to really genuinely, honestly admit to myself that I was playing pretend just as much as he was. I'm going to sneeze. I do go through phases where I get frustrated with people for telling me that my stuff shouldn't be raw and unedited, that, I need to edit everything, and I need to add music, and I need blah, and I need blah, and I need blah. That doesn't work for me because I'm not an edited person. I don't believe in perfection. I don't believe in right or wrong. I believe in learning. I believe in effective or ineffective. I know that edited stuff is much more entertaining. That's why people would read a Facebook post that has the 3 best things to know about life instead of, reading entire books. I know that. And if you're one of those people, I'm not attacking you at all. I'm simply saying that's not who I am. I am the person who's going to read the book cover to cover, and I am the type of person who is going to make comments and going to underline it and going to have thoughts that I write down and I visit later and I come back to it because that's what I want to be doing. I am not doing these channels to tell people how to live. I'm not doing these channels to change people. I heard from my mother my entire life, you cannot change people. And yet I've heard from literally thousands of people who have come to me over my different ventures through the years and said, you changed my life. When I get to a point of hiring an agent who can be consistent with my marketing and my branding and such, then people are going to say, oh, she's an overnight sensation. But anybody who's known me since the time that, well, before the time I could speak, I speak my mind and I stand up. One of my oldest recordings of myself that I've seen, I'm crying. Like, I'm absolutely devastated, crying, and I'm trying to soothe myself because my mother's standing there just laughing at me. And that has really set the course for my entire life, that I am in pain, and people just find that humorous. Like, for some reason, the majority of humans that I've met, they find the misery and pain of others entertaining. I think that makes them cruel and sadistic, horrible human beings, but that's me, because I know exactly what it's like to be in genuine psychological, emotional, financial, physical need, and people are just standing there laughing at you. I have taken personal time. What's that quote? When you're overwhelmed, learn to rest, not quit. And that's what I'm doing now, is I'm resting, I'm not quitting. I'm not quitting on real estate. Absolutely not. It didn't work out to go find mentors. They say, oh, go find a mentor. And I found multiple mentors. And these gentlemen, I respect them. I'm not dissing them in the slightest, which is another reason we're not putting their names out there, because I don't want people trying to trash talk them. But it was the same story over and over again. Oh, well, I charge for my mentoring, and since you can't afford the $10,000, $45,000, $62,000 to get my mentoring, I'm not going to mentor you. Well, newsflash, you're rich, I'm not. If I had $10,000, $45,000, $62,000, I wouldn't be needing your mentorship. That is something that will definitely affect my career moving forward. I've always found it completely preposterous that so many people want to say, so many successful people say, hey, we need more successful people and we need to change the planet. Oh, by the way, give me more money. Don't get me wrong. you got to have a model that's going to make enough money to be self-sustaining. But if all you're doing is giving your verbal advice, see, my brain just goes there, unfortunately, because I've been used to it so long. If all you're doing is giving verbal advice, you don't hit my truck. Thank you. Oof. All right, when you're turning a rig, okay, a lot of people pay attention to that left part of their nose, right? But you got to remember, your cab is turning. This part of your trailer is going to stick out. His trailer got closer to me than his nose did. Not to mention, I'm on an end side. No one's supposed to park next to me. I wake up and guess what? There's 2 trucks parked next to me. You know why we need that space? For instances like that. Now, if the other guy hadn't moved, he wouldn't have been able to get out. This is raw, this is unedited, this is real life. You know why I do it? Because I want to show people you don't have to be perfect. The worst insult you could give me is that, oh, life is easy for me, or that I'm so good at this, or, you know, any of that kind of BS. What am I doing? The long story short is that you're going to go through periods where you're moving forward. You're going to go through periods where you know what you're doing. You're going to go through periods where you're not sure what you're doing. You're going to go through periods, okay? And we don't want to feel alone. We want to feel like there's somebody there who understands us. We want to feel like there's somebody that's going to comfort us psychologically, emotionally, physically. And I have spent a good deal of my life learning how to give psychological comfort because, as that video attests, you know, they still get joy from that video. They would watch it and, like, show it off to people. And then they tried to say that I was the problem. I'm an infant. An infant. I can't even say words anymore. I'm 100% dependent upon other people. And they want to laugh at me. And it's not like a, oh, you're so cute. No, it's like a, ha, 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 you're an idiot, you deserve it, you're a little nothing lesser. And they still laugh at me that way, and they still talk about it that way. And then they wonder why I still don't want them in my life, and why they say, oh, you're not fighting for your children. That's bullshit. I fight for my children's future every single day. I make myself stronger. I've done what I needed to do. I could have been selfish. I could have gone into a shelter after we were abandoned. I could have, you know, just put my children through instability and constantly drain my resources. I didn't do that. First and foremost, I never wanted this arrangement. I was talking to them every single day. I bought them computers. I was helping with school. I was volunteering for child support. I wanted to be a part of this every single day. My mother is the one who cut me off. My mother is the one who stopped answering phone calls. My mother is the one who has refused financial help. My mother is the one who has stopped answering the emails, has not allowed me to Skype, has not allowed me to be in my children's lives. Now, granted, I still have custody, so by technical definition, I'm allowing her to allow me to not be there, and I take responsibility for that. I am making that choice. Have I gone back and forth on that choice and talked to attorneys and talked to other things? Yes, I have. But when weighing my children's future with my emotional past, my children's future is always going to win. Look, I am not insensitive to understand the reality that, you know, one day my mother is going to die. She's not going to be here forever and ever and ever. So I have to focus and build on getting myself strong enough so that when I don't have that support system there, I can be strong enough to take the kids back. You know, there's the little psychological things. She still likes to psychologically torture me, that she calls my daughter Aaliyah instead of Ilya, even though I've asked her and my younger sister Heather numerous times to please call her Aaliyah because her name is Aaliyah. But, you know, I can't let this daily toxicity pull me down. And I think that's why it's so insulting to me. But I did have a friend tell me that I needed to see it as a compliment, that I am so good at overcoming my daily negativity, all those forces weighing me down every single day, that nobody sees me carrying those forces. When you are lifting weights and you're carrying 50 pounds, you feel it. But if you've been lifting and training to where you are lifting 70, 80 pounds, that 50 pounds, people are like, wow, that's so easy for you. It's so easy for you. It's not. It's still 50 pounds. But you are strong, and it is a compliment. Now, it's also a reflection of their ignorance to think that 50 pounds is easy for you and that you haven't had to work for those 50 pounds. But that's something that you have to come and accept. That's something that you have to heal. Is for my life and for what I'm going through, I understand no one's going to be there for me. And I know I've got hundreds and thousands of friends that are going to be like, what the hell, I want the best for you. Wanting the best for me and being there in my day-to-day life to help me through everything are two different things. And it's not an insult to other people. We shouldn't be needing other people. That's called codependency. The people I have in my life day to day, if I don't talk to them today, they're not devastated. They still go about, they still happy, they're still fine. The people that are in my life, I might be breaking down crying. I call them, they can't answer. I don't hate them for it. I'm not angry at them. I'll call somebody else, and or when that doesn't work, I'm just by myself and I cry it out myself. Life isn't about codependency. And that's really why I have struck out on this. It's not a lone wolf, I don't need anybody journey. It's a independent, it's okay to be on my own journey. And it has been quite the journey. Lots of lessons learned. I have set myself up to be in a very good position by this time next year if I can be consistent with it. And that's the next thing that I'm going to, is consistency. I fight or I submit. Well, I don't want to fight and I don't want to submit anymore. I just want to slowly but surely put in some daily routines. And I can't even take credit for this morning. I had put myself on Sleep or Birth yesterday afternoon. And for some reason it either didn't upload or it didn't take through the Qualcomm, so it's still showing me as on duty for 14 hours. So that is something that I need to get more into the habit of double checking. But that's okay. I already called Milton Main office. They sent an email over to safety, and we will be figuring this out. Have waited for 30 minutes so far, which is what got me to say, okay, I have this opportunity to put in this little bit. I don't tell stories. I am raw. I let my thoughts flow. If you want me edited, if you want me unraw, then, read any of the books I've read. Read any of the books I've written. And I do know that I need to be consolidating my books and putting them all onto Kindle. So far, I've only got 2 of my books on Kindle. And that will be something as I get into more of a routine and I have more time to myself. Starting to write books, I have 2 ideas. The first one is Confidently Terrified. And it's just talking about how I handle situations, because I guess a lot of people don't know this about me. I'm terrified and I'm anxious about pretty much anything and everything I ever say, do, or experience. And not just like a little bit, but like hand shaking, trying to, mentally get away as much as I possibly can kind of situations. But I've just learned that's not efficient. I've just learned that, just because I'm afraid of something doesn't mean I need to necessarily stop. It does mean I need to be conscious and deliberate. Dude, that's the one way. Ooh, don't hit the pillar. All right, people, you've got to realize you have 72 feet of real estate behind you, okay? So you've got your little cab and you got your whole freaking trailer, okay? Just because the cab can move and fit through doesn't mean if you turn that's gonna go straight. See, you gotta turn into it. Anyway. I have never hit anything under my own free will. The only time that hit something, was a rock at the car wash because the trainer told me to turn the wheel too tight, even though I told him I didn't want to turn it that tight, and then he was like, "Ugh." So we turned it, and it brushed a boulder. I mean, literally did zero damage to the tire. It put a little bit of dirt on the edge of it, and we were at a car wash, so you couldn't even tell within the next 7 minutes. But anyway, I have to be narcissistic. I have to be self-focused on me because people aren't going to take care of me. My mother is going to laugh at me when I'm in pain. My sisters are going to laugh at me with my mother when I'm in pain. My father killed himself. My extended family has never wanted anything to do with us bastard children and still doesn't want anything to do with us. They're too overwhelmed with their own issues. I, thought that the father of my children was going to be there for me the rest of my life, and then he made a life change and told me that everything I knew was just a role he was playing and that everything I knew of him was a lie. So, I have very strong influences through these last 35 years to show me that this is about me, that the only one who's ever going to be there for me is me. People are going to come and go, and that's every single person. That's including my own children. Eventually, they're going to come back into my life on a daily basis, but then after that, eventually, they're going to have their own lives. They're going to have their own kids. They're going to have their own jobs. They are going to leave. They're going to not be a part of my day-to-day life again. So it's just important to me. I've never seen that set up before. Yeah, he doesn't have a 52. He's got a 48-foot trailer. Where are you going, buddy? Oh, that's where I was going. To the open parking spot. Anyway. I read a book called Disarming the Narcissist, and it helped me so much with having to deal with how my mother and my sisters were treating me. And then I put it down, and like 6 months or a year later or something, I picked it up again. And I realized I needed to start applying it to myself. When you survive toxicity, you have to first understand why the other people are toxic. But once you begin to identify it and you've begun to put higher quality people into your life, you have to start becoming a higher quality person. And I have noticed that through very serious stages of my life. Some of the best friendships I've ever had were friendships lost to my own behavior. People who were, just personally strong enough to tell me, hey, you're not being a healthy person. Here's why, and I'm going to protect myself from you. I mean, that's been fantastic for me. I didn't see it at the time, and I told them I don't see it, and I wanted to work on it, and somebody brought it to my attention. They said, you never give up. This was in a setup of, hey, we're ending the relationship talk. So, there's a lot of freedom to just say whatever we both needed to say. And I came back with my typical rhetoric, because something's worth fighting for, I'm going to fight for it, damn it. And she said, no, you never give up because you're still trying to protect yourself. You're still trying to mentally find a way to tell yourself you're not a bad person. She said, and you're never going to find that answer because you're not a bad person. You just have a few bad habits you haven't changed yet. That just really helped me. That changed a lot of how I saw things. Another reason why I became a narcissist is because I needed to heal, and I was the only one in my circle who would read the books that I would read, and I needed time to just process and to bring in the new things I was learning and the new things that I knew. When I would try to speak to other people, they, one, don't know as much as me, and that's not an insult, that's just an observation. They don't read as much as me, so they can't know all the examples that I'm giving. And two, I don't know what it is about human nature, but when the less you know, the more advice you have. I just don't understand that. And so they would be interrupting my thoughts, and you've seen in just this short video, you know, you see things, you get distracted, your brain focuses on, hey, what's the current danger, you know, don't hit my fucking truck. And then you have to focus and regroup. So I just found it incredibly useful to use self-journaling. Then it came into videos about really understanding and healing and going forward. And then it got through the phase of, I learned that they were just a short-term thing. I didn't need to save them all. So it was every day I will journal. I'll open up my laptop and I will just let my thoughts fly. And then I delete the page. I don't save them. I don't collect them. They're not on some public domain anywhere. Because to me, it's just to heal. I just needed to heal. And it was brought to my attention that that was selfish of me. That a lot of great historic works, not saying that I will become one of those people, but just for an understanding that a lot of great historic works were by accident. They were never intended to be as influential as they wound up being. So why is everyone coming my direction to try to hit my truck? Okay, well, he gave me 4 feet, so night transportation, I appreciate you. But what I don't understand is why you went left instead of right, because you got more cars to your right than to your left, meaning you have a better turning angle. Ooh, ooh, ooh. All right, he proved me wrong. Go night. Yeah, he got a little nervous, a little close. Anyway. Still haven't heard back from safety. It's been almost 40 minutes, so I'm going to call back here shortly because I need to make sure that I get to my delivery on time this morning. I am wanting to have consistency into my own life. I'm wanting to create a routine that is me. No longer changing, adapting, trying to protect myself. I'm constantly trying to protect myself. And that's why a lot of my relationships have ended, whether they be friendships or actual relationships, is because a lot of people try to protect me. And to a lot of people, protect means codependency. I don't want codependency. And at this point in time, I don't want anyone to protect me. I just want people in my life who are going to help strengthen me. That's a huge difference. If you're going to help strengthen somebody, you encourage them to lift that 50 pounds. If you're going to protect somebody, you lift it for them, which just makes them completely weak and dependent. And then when you're gone or can't be there, you know, they're devastated. And I'm not going to be devastated anymore in my life. I have a lot of personal goals that I'm working on and that I'm working toward, and I will get there. One of the personal goals is to start doing a video journal on this channel in a consistent manner. I don't know what that consistency will be, but once I get it put into a routine, it'll be pretty good. I had an interesting run-in with a lady. I think it was 2 days ago at a Love's. When you're in a semi, and I try to pace myself at 500 miles a day because I go for an 8.0 or better fuel economy. And no, I don't think it's something to be like, oh, I did 630 miles. Yeah, what's your fuel economy? Did you get your delivery on time? Oh, I was early, but the fuckers wouldn't take me. Yeah, see, so, woohoo, you just wasted all your time, stressed yourself out, and burnt all your extra fuel. I'm not impressed. Anyway, going back to daily consistency, trying to remember what my whole point was for this. I'm building. I'm not trying to impress. I'm not trying to fight. I'm not asking for help. I am just day to day building. That's all I'm doing right now. And if you watch these videos, you'll be a part of that. But understand that I don't need you to like me. Oh, that's what it was. The loves. All right, so we drive all over the place, right? And there's about 7 different gas stations that we're typically assigned to. And if you've ever gone grocery shopping a lot, you've seen those people, that little old lady that has the key ring that's full of like 4,500 different, rewards cards for specialty places, and that's ridiculous. You prefer to tell them your phone number, right? Or for me and my friends, we just say, fuck it, I'll pay the price. Like, if you can't give me a decent price, whatever. And I went into the Lowe's, and I came in and I said, excuse me, why won't it let me put my phone number in? She said, oh, well, it doesn't let you put the phone number in. I said, I see that. Can you look up my phone number? No. Well, we could try calling customer service, and we could just try to switch it over to a new card. I said, I'm not going to do that every time. Oh, well, you can just keep the card on you. I said, no, I'm not going to do that either. I've already got enough cards that I've got to keep track of, just between the Comdata, my personal cards, the other company cards. I don't need to be keeping track of, 7 other fuel cards. And she said, well, we don't do it. I said, I know, you've told me that 3 times. Who is it? I think she said Pilot. I think she was one. She said, well, Pilot lets you put the phone number in. I said, yeah. And she's like, well, I could just give you a new card and you can start from scratch. What's the point of that? Like, starting from scratch every single time. The points won't add up. Isn't that the whole point of having it, is the points? And the only thing I was trying to get was the shower that comes with getting 60 gallons or more. And she was like, well, you could just get a new card. And I said, or I could just drive down to Pilot. And I, walked out to the car. Now, in my mind, my focus is on the fact that Love's doesn't let me do my phone number, right? That's my whole focus. I said hello to her. I felt I was a polite tone to her. Like, I didn't say that she was a bitch, that she was a bad person, or that she was somehow personally liable. So when I leave, I go out to my car. I go to look with my hours and where I'm at, where the next Love's is. The next Pilot is. It doesn't make sense, and I've already got it all set up, so I'm just going to go ahead and do the fuel. So I did the fuel, and I went in and I said, okay, it's too far, it doesn't work for my trip plan. If I print out the receipt, can I get a shower? Same lady. And she's like, I'll have to ask a manager. I said, okay. And the lady next to her said, they're just going to tell her give her a shower. She was like, okay. It's like, that's the first time I noticed that, okay, apparently this woman's got a problem with me. And I go back out, I fill it up, I say print receipt. So after it says print receipt, I go back in and I say, can I get that printed receipt? And she's like, what pump are you? And I said, I'm not sure, is that the 19 or the 20? Because I was between 2 of them. And she was like, it's 19. And turns and walks away. And I'm standing there, and the other lady was like, oh, it's in the slot. I said, oh, okay, thank you, grab the receipt. Park my truck, come in to go get my shower, and talk to a different dude. And I said, here's my receipt, about $65 worth of fuel, and I just want to get my shower. And he said, do you have a rewards card? I said, I do, but apparently you guys can't look it up by a phone number. He said, no. I said, do you have a number that I can call about that? And the original woman turns around and comes at me and is like, we don't do that. I've already told you, we don't do that. And I just looked at her and I realized something. This woman has taken it personally. There was nothing personal there, but she made it personal. She doesn't control the pumps. She doesn't control the company. She wasn't even a manager, and she made it quite clear she has nothing to do with it, no control over it. So why was she holding on to it? And if she really was that, if it really was that negative of an interaction for her, why did she keep putting herself in that situation? And like I do with anything and everything I observe in human behavior, I then asked myself, what's going on? How can I apply this to me? What are the times and the places that I'm putting myself in a negative situation that really has nothing to do with me? And I was talking to a good friend, and he said, well, the answer's obvious. And, as all my good friends do, they let me try to figure it out for myself for a little bit. And then I said to him, I said, well, okay, it's not obvious to me. So what are you seeing that's obvious to you? He said, your mom. That's a huge topic for me. So you're going to have to be more specific. And he said, you've been telling yourself that you're a horrible mother, that you're a horrible human being because you're not able to see your children every single day. He said, how many days in a row did you call your mother every single day trying to talk to your children? Okay, good point. He's like, so what is it that you and your mother are fighting about? I have no clue. I will be straight up. I have no clue. I have sent her emails about it. I have tried to talk to her about it. I have no clue. I literally have no clue. As far as I'm aware, we didn't get into a fight. As far as I'm aware, the only thing that we disagreed on is that she wanted to put my children into church, and I said, no, absolutely not. No indoctrination for my children. As far as I'm aware, that's the only thing we disagreed on. And then the next thing I know, a couple months later, my ex-husband's contacting me, saying that my mother has contacted him, asking if I had a child who I murdered. I'm not kidding. She's genuinely asking if I'm a murderer. Like, where does this stuff come from? And then she's telling me that my son's having issues in school, but then doesn't tell me where my son's going to school. And then some stranger calls me up and says my mother just hired him and that the school didn't hire him. And then he says that the children were taken from me because I abused them. Let's get this very straight. I emailed my mother saying that you're going to hear from my husband's little sister that, he's becoming a woman and that, yes, he is, and that, yes, we are getting a divorce. She's the one who contacted me, begging me to let her meet the kids. Yes, my apartment was dirty. I am the only one taking care of these two little children, and this is a, filthy POS apartment because, yeah, we're broke. We don't have a lot of money because nobody's there to support us. She believes in being very controlling and being very demeaning over anything and everyone. And yes, I felt I had to protect my son against her. She had him crying and feeling violated within the first 4 hours that she was there. So yeah, there was that tension. And then she left, and then she said that she was going to help to watch the kids for a little bit, and she was going to help me go to a real estate seminar. And I thought, okay, cool, maybe we can try building a relationship. That was what I wanted at that time. I thought, hey, we're both adults now. Maybe we can finally move forward. When I found out that my husband was leaving us through an email, I immediately said, I'm going to walk across the street and go to Walmart and get a job. And she told me no. She told me she was going to kick me out. And I had a job, at least I thought I did, back in Charlotte. So she said, go back to Charlotte and take care of things. So that's what I did. I went back to Charlotte, and then I found out that my apartment was completely emptied out. I found out that I didn't have a job. Patty had to tell me, by the way, Blast Fitness closed, and you're completely penniless. So within less than, 72 hours, I had gone down to the grocery store and gotten a job. And then from Food Lion, I did Food Lion and Wendy's. And then from there, I did Harris Teeter and Food Lion. And then I just did full-time Harris Teeter. And I distinctly remember a night in Harris Teeter. My son had said that he wanted to come home. And my mother was, I don't even remember the exact situation, but I do remember the excruciating rage and anger inside of me. And the distinct decision that that wasn't me anymore. That was not me anymore. Anger is a self-standard being violated. And I'm not going to give her that kind of control over me anymore. And that's the backstory that my friend knows about when he said that I was making it personal and had nothing to do with me. And he said, that cashier thought that because she happened to be the one that they had at the register at the time, that you were making it personal toward her. He said, you were the child she happened to have at the time, but it had nothing to do with you. Stop taking your mother personal. And that really hit me in a way that it hasn't hit me before, which is weird because I've been trying to understand my mother for over 30 years. I'm going to really bring my next focus onto building a consistency and building a habit. It's now been 15 minutes, so I've got to call back safety and I got to figure out. I think when I come off the road, there's like 2 gates and they didn't really give any special instructions, so I'll have to go there and look, and it's an 8 o'clock appointment. So time for me to start figuring that stuff out. I'm going to call them back and give a gentle push. And if it's time for me to go, it's time for me to go, and they're just going to have to excuse me for a DOT violation because I did not have a DOT violation. All right, people. Why do I do these lives versus recordings? I don't like people interrupting me, so I don't like these lives. I don't like all the commentation, so I don't like these lives. However, I've had enough people who, I respect and who are good entrepreneurs and business owners tell me that I need to start doing these lives, and that's why I'm doing them as lives. That's really it. Not to mention I don't do any sort of editing anyway, so why would I do an extra step to upload it when I could just live it and have it go? I went from 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 to 4. That might help me with my turning radius. I was trying to practice yesterday backing up, and I still got to figure out about the range of the turning radiuses for these things. I'm going to figure it out. You're never going to have life figured out. You're never going to have all the answers. And that's why I'm never going to stop reading, because it's other people's opinions that they have thought about enough to form and to get out there in book form. I feel like I'm a hypocrite because I do not watch what I call rants. This to me is a rant, just somebody just talking and 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 talking until someone brought it to my attention that it's complete absolute bullshit. I am a goddamn hypocrite. Because the people that I like, Richard Branson, Grant Cardone, I will watch. I will watch for hours and hours and hours of their raw footage. Any content that they give. Anthony Robbins, I love it when he's unscripted because that's when you get a lot of truthful gems from him. And Grant Cardone's always unscripted. I really relate to Grant Cardone's energy. And I am understanding that my entire life I've been trying to seek protection. And when I keep thinking back to that early video, it's like, well, no wonder why I seek protection. I mean, my mother got enjoyment from my pain. My father is another subject for another day, I guess. But, did not protect me, long story short. So, it's just... Okay, hold on. He didn't make quite as tight a turn, but he can't, because if he made quite as tight a turn, he's going to hit that guy. But see, he didn't hit that guy. See, that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, you need lane 5 and 6. Here meaning 3 and 4. Okay. I'll get it. I'll get it eventually. I'll figure everything out. You can't change anyone, and yet you change everyone's lives. It's a long story short. And I've learned that they're both true. They're both true because I can't change anyone, and I don't change anyone. But my example for some people is enough for them to change their lives, for them to change their habits. So for the rest of my life, I am only focused on changing one person, and that's me. I am only focused on being better than one person, and that's me. I share my journey because it helps other people. And if you're one of the people that I help, fantastic. If you're not one of the people I help, dude, what are you doing watching 44 minutes into my rant? You sure you don't want help? Because something about me is keeping you entertained enough to stay along. Now it's been 54 minutes. Yep, I gotta go, people. And, yeah. life moves on. Oh, wait, that's not the right one. Hold on. Yeah, I don't have a good memory, but I do refigure things out. I get so good at it because I do it over and over and over and over again. Between not having a strong memory and, my brain liking to move or switch things on me all the time, I figure things out. It's just a matter of process of elimination and what seems to be the best case scenario. I'm going to try this one. Yep, that works.